Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Glam By Sam. If you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe if you want new beauty videos 3 to 5 times a week. And if you are already a subscriber, then of course, hi, welcome back. So glad you're watching again. Today, I'm actually trying out a new palette from Natasha Denona, or well, it's new to me, it's definitely not new. But this is the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. I recently picked this up. I just wanted to play with this palette on camera today and sort of like see my first impression and let you guys know what I think of it and if I think it is worth picking up. Even though this is not a new palette, I don't always have the money to buy all the new releases, so I like to play with older palettes that I got too, and since this one is new to my collection, I thought I would just review it for you guys since I know probably some of you guys are interested in this. So I think without further ado, if you want to see how I created this look and what I think about this palette, then please keep watching. So right here we have the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. As you can see, the outer packaging is just a really pretty like shiny bronze cardboard, and then on the back you have all the ingredients and the shades. This palette has a 24-month shelf life and it is made in Italy, in case you're interested. So these midi palettes from Natasha Denona actually have 15 different shades, so I'm going to show you what they look like because I need to play with this palette. So the inside of the cardboard is just a like matte black, and then when you take the palette out, the palette itself looks pretty identical to the outer packaging. But here we have the actual palette. So the front is just like a shiny bronze and then the back is like a matte bronze. And in case you're wondering what these holes are, they're actually like holes to pop out the magnetic pans, because you can actually take these pans out and then you can replace them with other shades from her palette. So in that way you can kind of customize your own little palette. I'm not going to do that because I think this palette is pretty as it is. So when you open the palette up, this is what the actual palette looks like. As you can see, it's a gorgeous variety of bronze colors. We also have a black, a more purple shade. This one is slightly pink, and then the rest are all like really warm toned shades. I actually didn't get this full price, but I got this for 50% off, so which was an amazing deal. I actually got it on Lookfantastic and they were doing a flash sale. I picked this up at the beginning of July and I actually haven't gotten around to testing it out because I really wanted to wait and test this out with you guys on camera. So I think without further ado, we should just take a look at this palette and see what look I'm going to be creating. And then also I think I want to do a 3 looks 1 palette or a 1 week 1 palette sometime with this palette. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. But today we're just going to be creating 1 look to try out the palette and see what the formula is like. And I'm going to tell you if I think it is worth the price. So let's get started with the tutorial. So I zoomed you guys in a little bit so it's easier to see what I'm doing. I always like to zoom in with my tutorials, but these shades are so gorgeous. I really can't believe how beautiful they look. So I think we just need to create a look with this right now. I think I'm going to do a wearable bronzy look. Now, one thing I am noticing right away is that, for instance, these 3 shades all look really similar, and I'm really curious to see how different they're going to be on the actual eyes. If I were to design this palette, I would probably add a little bit more mattes and not have as many shimmers, because for instance, these 2 look really similar, these 2 look really similar, and that is also what I have heard people say about this palette, that it was kind of hard to do like a variety of looks with this since some of the colors are really similar. But first I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is called Beach, and I'm just taking this on my sort of like dense fluffy brush, and I'm just going to add this to the lid. And one thing I'm noticing right away, I don't know if you're able to see it, it actually gives a lot of kick up in the pan, so that is something to keep in mind. So I'm just going to tap my brush off. There's quite a bit of fallout there. And I'm just going to add this to my lid, and I'm really going to be using this as a base shade because, as you can probably see from this eyelid, I have pretty oily lids and I also have hooded eyes, so for me it's always important to have a matte base. So I'm just basically like pressing this down on my lid right now. And that is a really pretty color. Like I said, it's called Beach, but keep in mind that this has quite a bit of fallout in the pan. So for some reason this is looking way darker on this eye than it is on this eye, but I think I just took like more shadow on this brush. I am just going to add a little bit more to that right eye to really make it a bit more even. And so far I don't mind how the shade is looking. It's a really pretty sort of like light brown orangey shade, and I personally think it is really pretty. So now I'm taking a different brush and I'm going to be using this one right here, which is called Suntan, and this is a really pretty sort of like light brown shade, and I'm just going to apply this to my brush. I just tapped very lightly and then you have less kick up in the pan. And I'm just going to apply this to the crease. This is really pigmented. Like, I literally took the tiniest amount, and can you see that pigment on the crease? So I'm just blending this upwards to my brow bone. So as you can see, that really gave the eye some more depth, and I think this shade is really, really pretty. So now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other lid. And so far, I actually only have two other Natasha Denona palettes. I have the Midi Love palette, and then I have the like little mini retro palette. I don't use that one as often, but I really like the colors in there. So right now I'm just like focusing on the blend and just making the transition really, really smooth. And I want to add a tiny bit more of that depth to the outer corner. So far this is looking really, really pretty. And it's actually not like too warm toned at all. I mean, it is a warm toned palette, but it's not pulling like too red on my lid, which I like. Also, I'm wearing my JK Magic lipstick, and for some reason this lipstick always looks a lot more pink on my lips than it does in the tube. I always think it's like a warm toned lipstick, but it's more of a pink lipstick. It's really pretty though. So then I'm just taking a little bit of that beach shade again, adding it to this brush, and then kind of like go over that edge where we blended. My camera stopped recording, but I was just like blending this shade up to the brow bone to really create a smooth transition. So now I'm just taking this really tiny like flat shader brush, and I'm going to be taking the matte red in here, which is called Magma, and this is just a really warm toned red. So I'm just going to take the tiniest amount, and I'm just going to sort of like press this on the outer V of the eye in a diagonal line to my brow bone. I'm not going to take it entirely to my brow bone, but just in that direction to create a more lifted shape to the eye. And then I'm also slightly taking it to the outer corner of the eye look. Like that, and then I'm going to be blending this using the same brush that we just used without any extra product, and just doing these sort of like circular motions to really blend this shade out. This is actually so pretty. I'm so surprised by how much I like this warm tone palette. So as you can see, I always struggle a bit more with like the lifted effects on this eye than on this eye, but I have a solution for that, so it's going to look fine in the end. But I really like how this eye is looking so far. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit more of that shade Magma. Kind of like press this on here again to really create some extra depth. And so far these shades are blending really, really nice. I can really tell they're good quality shades, and can you guys believe this palette actually was 50% off? Like, what an amazing deal. Now I'm just taking this like buffing brush, and I'm just going to go over the line right here to really create that lifted look also on this eye. And as you can see, that's just really easy to clean up, and it's a really easy solution to get that lifted effect back. So that is what that is looking like. Now I'm taking this brush again, and I'm going to be taking the first shade that we used called Beach, and I'm just going to like add this to my lower lash line. And then now I'm just going to blend that out using this brush that we already used. I can't believe how easily these shades blend. And now it's time for the shimmers, which I'm really excited about. Which one am I going to be using though? I've just swatched a couple of them, and I think I'm going to go with this shade right here, which is called Silk. And I'm just taking this on a flat brush. This is giving a lot of pigment. And now I'm just adding this to the lid. I love the Natasha Denona shimmers. I think I'm just going to apply it with the finger because I feel like you get better pigment when you apply it with your finger. They just feel really buttery and creamy. I wish there was a lighter shimmer in here to really like accentuate the center of the lid, but there isn't. So I think we're just going to leave it like this. So I'm going to apply some mascara right now and then I'll be back to share my final thoughts on this Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. So then this is the finished look that we created with the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. Like I said, it's just a really like easy look, but it's really sort of like making me fall in love with warm tone shades again. I actually really like how this is looking on me, and I don't say that about warm tones really often because sometimes I feel like they don't look the best on me, but this one I really like. So I think this palette is really good. The shimmers are really smooth and creamy. The shades swatch beautiful and they also blend so nice on the lid. As you can see, sometimes I like kind of messed up accidentally, but it was so easy to like blend out again and make it look like nothing happened. So I think these work really well. I think also if you're a beginner with eyeshadow, you're really going to enjoy this because how easy the shades work. The downside of this palette, of course, is that the variety of shades is not that big. A lot of shades are sort of similar and there's only like a few looks you can do with this palette that really look different. But like I said, I am curious to see which looks we can create with this. So let me know if you guys want to see a 3 looks 1 palette video or like 1 week 1 palette with this video, because then I'm totally going to do that video because I think this palette is really good. And even though these shades are similar, I still think we can sort of create different looks with like this purple here, this black here, and I'm really curious to see what looks we can do with this. So I personally think this is worth my money. I'm glad I bought this, but I'm even more glad I was able to get this for 50% off because who doesn't love a good deal on a Natasha Denona palette? So please leave me a comment in the comment section below whether you own this palette or I inspired you right now to pick this up, or if you don't like it as much. I would love to hear your opinion on this palette as well. And I also wanted to say that if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope you have an amazing day and I really hope to see you on my next video. Bye!